In this video, I'm gonna teach you 9 different ways to negotiate and get the best price on anything you buy. Hey, it's Ryan Maya back with another video. On this channel, I teach you everything you need to know about money, finance, real estate, making money online. My ultimate goal is to help you make more money. So over the years, I've bought and sold so many things, buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. And it's come natural to me ever since I was a little kid. I've been flipping things left and right, whether it was iPhones, cars, anything that I can get my hands on and make a profit, I probably have. The reason I'm qualified to give you these tips is I have a long track record of getting amazing deals on basically everything I buy. Let me give you a few. So for example, I drive a 2014 E63 AMG. It's a Mercedes, and off the shop floor, that car was $112,000. Now it's used. The seller had it on eBay for 50 grand. I bought the car for 42 grand. My MacBook Pro, it's a 16-inch MacBook Pro, brand new. It was $2,800. I purchased it for $1,250. So obviously I've done this before, right? I've bought things that are listed for a much higher price and purchased them at a much lower price. And the 9 tips I'm gonna give you today are gonna help you do the exact same thing. So let's hop into it. Now, to really get good at negotiating, you just gotta practice. That's what it comes down to. So some great places to start are OfferUp, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. These are all places where people are selling used items where they list it for a specific price and you can go ahead and make offers on it. Going into tip number 1, people will always list things for a higher price than what they're willing to take. People think it's just natural that their stuff is typically worth more than what it is, but sometimes they actually list it for close to the price that it should be worth, but that doesn't still mean you should come in and pay that full price. 99% of the times, people list something and they are not firm on the price. You'll have that 1% that'll list a Rolex Daytona and say, hey, I want $20,000, not a dollar below that. But 99% of the time, people are always listing things for a much higher price, and they're realistically expecting mentally to take a little bit lower than what they're asking. Tip number 2, do not be afraid to lowball someone. Now, I know this sounds bad, but it's not. You should never offer full price for what someone wants. It just literally makes no sense. You're playing on an uneven field. Always, always, always start the negotiation with an offer that is much lower than the asking price. And this transitions perfectly over to tip number 3. You should always start low. You can always go up in price, but you cannot go back down in price. For example, if you're trying to buy a car and that car, the guy is asking $10,000. Let's say your first offer to that guy is $9,000, but you realize, hey, that car's only worth $8,000. Now that you've already offered that guy $9,000, you cannot go back down to $8,000. You simply won't get that deal since you already put that higher offer out there. So that's the exact reason you always want to start with a lower ball offer, because let's just say for that same $10,000 car, you offer $5,000. The guy says, no way. Well, now you can always incrementally work your way up, go from $5,000 to $6,000, $6,000 to $7,000, and meet at that $7,500 range. But if you immediately start at a much higher offer, you're just putting yourself in a bad position. Now, moving on to tip number 4. You will not offend anyone by making a low ball offer. Most people don't even end up making offers because they're scared to offend someone with a low ball offer. And if you don't ever make an offer on something, you have absolutely zero chance of buying it, right? Think about it. If you do not make an offer on something, if you don't give someone a proposal, they don't have the right to say yes or no. So please do not be afraid to offend anyone. And if you do offend anyone, who cares? Just move on to the next guy. Most of the times when people are selling something, they expect lowball offers. So if you submit a lowball offer, no one's gonna get offended. Tip number 5. Find a motivated seller. Find a seller who has a reason to sell. Let me run you through an example. So like I mentioned earlier, I bought my Mercedes for about $8,000 below what the gentleman was asking for. So he had it listed on eBay. We were going back and forth. And I just said, hey man, I can give you 40 grand. So I offered him $10,000 below what he was asking, and that's pretty undervalued for the car that I bought. Now, after having some conversations with the guy, I figured out the reason he needed to sell the car is because he just purchased a new car and he had no more room in his garage. He needed to move that car out. And that was the moment I knew I have this seller on a string. He is in a corner. I have all the power here in this negotiation. He absolutely needs to sell this car as soon as possible to make room for his new car. So when I offered him $40,000, he actually came down to $47,000. So he immediately budged $3,000 off his asking price. And that's when I knew he had a lot more wiggle room in his price. So again, after a lot of back and forth, we ended up settling on $42,000. I said, hey, I can send the money this weekend. I can close fast, get the car out of your hands and take it over. And that's what closed the deal. The fact that he needed to sell, the fact that I was a cash buyer ready to go, and that I could move quickly, those were all the things that he wanted. And that's what ended up getting me a really, really good deal. And by the way, it's been almost 2 years since I purchased that car. I now have it listed on eBay for $51,000 and I'm probably gonna sell it for about 50 grand. So that is the power of buying at a good deal. If you buy it right, you could always sell it for more in the future. Tip number 6, you wanna make offers on multiple items. Don't be afraid to do research. Look at the entire internet for all of the possibilities of what you're looking to buy and make offers on multiple listings. You don't really want to fall in love with just one listing because you back yourself into a corner and you're gonna end up paying too much. Whatever you're looking to buy, we live in an age where you can look it up on the internet. It's gonna be on eBay, it's gonna be on OfferUp, it's gonna be on Facebook Marketplace, it's gonna be everywhere. You can make offers on multiple listings because there's gonna be multiple listings of the item. Like right now, I'm trying to buy an old classic car. It's a 1972 Oldsmobile. There's literally 20 listings across the entire country. So I'm making offers on each and every car. Number 7, this is actually a tip I picked up working for Grant Cardone. He does this on all of his real estate deals. You wanna have a really, really good attitude. You wanna tell the buyer, hey, I am the buyer for this deal. I love this deal. I love the car you're selling. I want this car. I'm gonna be the person who's gonna buy it. Now, this is kind of controversial because a lot of people say you should go into a negotiation with a very straight face. Yeah, it's a nice car, but here are the problems. No, Grant talks about something completely different, and this is something that really stuck with me. If you convince the seller that you are the buyer, you get the seller in a state of mind where they're like, hey, this guy's actually gonna buy my car, they're already sold. They're done. Mentally, they've already sold the car to you. And that gives you power to come in and negotiate even a couple thousand or a couple hundred or a couple bucks off because you've already convinced the seller that you are the buyer for this item. So go in with a great attitude. Number 8, do not make quick and rash decisions ever. The only time you're ever gonna make a quick decision is if you know you're stealing this item. If you've got them 20% below or 30% below of what he's asking and you know it's a steal, make the quick decision. But if you're in love with this item, you really wanna buy it, and you don't wanna pay full price, do not make a quick decision. Make your offer. If he says no, take a step back, do your market research, see what other things are selling for, and if it makes sense to buy that item you love, go ahead and contact the seller again. And lastly, probably the most important tip out of all of these is you must negotiate everything. To me, it really doesn't make sense when people offer full price for anything. Even if it's, if you're buying a car, if it's a service you're paying for, right? I run a business and I constantly hire contractors, marketers, anything you can think of, right? When they list a price, I'm always negotiating. It makes no sense to buy anything for full price. Now, some people have no wiggle room. Their price is their price. That's okay, but at least you tried and you asked. For example, I'm getting my company published in a magazine for next month. The rate was $1,350 for half a page. And I was like, okay, that sounds fair. But I went back to the guy who was selling me the gig and I said, hey, do you have any wiggle room on price? What can you do for me? Work with me. Do something for me. And he came back and said, Ryan, these are our hard numbers. We don't have any wiggle room. I have no more money to give you. And I said, okay, that's completely understand. So I hope you got some awesome value from this video. Go ahead, give it a like for the YouTube algorithm. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna be dropping videos every single week, 1 to 3 videos per week, trying to help you make more money online. We will see you on the next one. Thanks.